In this episode of the RV Small Talk podcast, we've got a couple things on our minds. First of all, we kind of talk about things that we kind of have as fallbacks for morning breakfasts. And then we talk about if we were going to elevate our breakfast game, what would that be in a perfect scenario? But also, let's talk about that thing that scares us all the most, trailer sway. This is a topic that gets everyone all antsy, and we've all seen the videos, but let's talk about the physics of it, what's going on there, and how to alleviate it, reduce the chances, or how to pull out of a sway situation. So that is what we're talking about this week on the RV Small Talk podcast. This week's sponsor we would like to remind you is a new product that we're carrying here at Princess Craft RV. It is Mission Overland. These things are crazy cool, overbuilt, rugged, way off the grid camping trailers, and you have to see them. I mean, they look incredible.
They're colorful.
Well, why would that be?
Well, because they have a wrap on them, and you can put any wrap that you want, but they put very cool wraps on it.
Yeah, it'd be hard to top the wraps that they already have available, but you can.
But, you know, they're so sturdy built. They have just a solid build on them. Great features. Great off-road capabilities with independent suspension.
That independent suspension is huge.
It is, yeah. So,
and for the size trailer, that water tank, that fresh water tank is massive.
Yes. Well, Mission Overland, check them out. It's missionoverland.com.
.ca.
Oh, check them out. It's missionoverland.ca because they're made in Canada.
What's that all about? Everybody, welcome again to the RV Small Talk podcast, where we talk about trailers, truck campers, and the people, places, and adventures that go right along with them. We are your hosts from Princess Craft RV. I'm Clint.
I'm Lindsay.
And I'm PJ. Thank you so much for joining us today.
If you ever have comments or questions for us at the RV Small Talk podcast, just drop us a line, a comment, a question at questions@rvsmalltalk.com.
Let's talk about breakfast.
I could use breakfast any time of the day. All day, every day, 8 days a week.
My poor kids get breakfast for dinner, like,
I love it.
Pretty often.
I love it. And my kids do too, because they're all about anything with scrambled eggs. You know, if a plate has scrambled eggs, they're probably down with whatever else is beside it. Anyway, so breakfast. I got to tell you, my breakfast game when camping, it's not what I aspire to. It's really always so simple. And that goes back to childhood. It's Pop-Tarts.
Cereal.
I'm big on cereal when I'm camping because I don't want to cook when I get up first thing in the morning. I want coffee, then I want cereal, and then I don't mind cooking scrambled eggs at 11 or 12 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah. And I think that's where my aspirations go to is I kind of want something that feels, you know, cooked over the fire outdoors, because there's always something about that. I don't think anyone can deny that there's something amazing about something cooked over a fire outdoors. But what I envision is something more like I would figure a breakfast scramble or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you ever seen that Instagram profile, Cooking Over Fire?
No.
Do I need to check it out?
It's going to make you hungry. Don't do it.
Endless
Don't
feed.
do it.
Yeah, it's an endless feed of amazing over the fire cooking creations. And you get to watch them happen. It's in a kind of TikTok-ish kind of format. So it's kind of sped up and you see little jump cuts. But everything looks amazing. And that's what I would like. I would like to have the roasted potatoes, maybe the roasted and caramelized onions and peppers.
Well, why don't we do that?
Egg.
Why don't you do it?
Because
watching those short little like TikTok videos of people making breakfast, it looks really good. And then you think like, I can do that. But what you're going to do takes way more than the 2 minutes that it takes to watch that video.
Well, yeah.
And it's messy and it's a lot of work, especially when you're hungry.
Yeah. So this requires...
that's why the bowl is cereal. I'm telling you.
But this also requires, and this is something we've talked about with Kate all the time, which is why I just think I need to just travel camp when Kate camps nearby. But
Totally.
here's the deal. It requires planning and prep.
Yep.
You don't have lots of successes in that area unless you arrive with, you know, your little Ziploc bags full of your pre-cut potatoes and things like that.
Well, you make it look like it's a bad thing. I mean, why not show up with some prepped food? Why not?
Why not?
You know what's easy is pancakes.
Yeah, and there's different ways to make it easy, but the easiest is the pre-made stuff that you buy and you just shake it and drop it
Oh my gosh.
like it's hot.
Well, I'd say stick with your Pop-Tarts. It's the easiest. If you're looking for easy,
No, the easy pancakes.
Pop-Tarts are easy.
Yeah, I mean, but pancakes are easy and you don't have a bunch of different ingredients. I think that's why I don't want to cook breakfast, because you need all the stuff. I don't want all the stuff. You just have like pancake mix and milk and syrup.
You know, as much as I enjoy the food portion of this, and I feel like it would be an absolute experience, I never have been much of a culinary adventurer as far as cooking. I'll try most anything. I've had some interesting things in interesting places, but I've never been one who's been motivated to become a great cook.
Well, we all have talked about
But I
trying
want
to
food.
get better. So
Yeah.
maybe we need to find that delicate balance between a little bit of prep
Yeah.
and, cooking outside.
Sure.
I challenge you guys to do that. Get off the Pop-Tarts, get off the cereal, and let's see if we can step up our game.
Clint, 2021 is our year.
It is
I'm
breakfast
flipping
here.
the script. I'm going to make top parts.
Lindsay is speechless.
Well, I'm trying to think of how to say cereal backwards.
Just go to Pig Latin.
Laris.
Ariel say.
All right, up our game, y'all.
Okay, so I did find some things, and a lot of people are finding really neat ways to do cinnamon rolls at the campfire. They'll even put it
Sounds
like
like
on a
work.
big skewer.
What?
Like roast. You either pre-make or you get a can of cinnamon rolls.
That's up
Pillsbury
our
or whatever.
alley. We're
And you
easy.
go ahead and put it through your hot dog skewer, and you roast it over the fire.
And it puffs up?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what an oven is. It's fire.
Yeah,
This is what I heard.
Yeah, you think it would just like fall off the skewer?
that would happen to me.
Well, maybe-
or it'd be like my
There's
marshmallow
bound to
would
be some
burst into flames.
Yeah, there's got to be some technique here, but you only get skills if you practice them.
Okay. All right. I'm going to try this at the next opportunity,
Yeah.
which might be in the next week or two. So I'm going to do that.
But take
I'll
pictures
report
for
back.
us. Yeah. But
So much finger pointing going.
and
And
there's-
let's hope it's an epic fail because
Yeah.
it makes better pictures, right?
yeah, it does. Well, either way, if it's a perfect win, that's great. But if it's a torch, yes.
Yeah.
Bring
if
it
I
on.
can light a sweet roll on fire. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you know.
I'd still eat it.
You know, something that probably wouldn't be that difficult is like poached eggs. Even you can still do that over a fire.
What is a poached egg?
It's an egg in water. It's
Well,
a boiled egg without the
that's
shell.
it. Yeah,
Shell.
it's actually one of the cleanest ways to cook is to poach things.
Yeah, but then you have to have a pot. You have to boil the water. And then,
You crack the egg and put it in the boiling water,
yeah.
You just drop it in for about less than a minute.
The little bit
but
of
it doesn't
vinegar.
like mix with the water.
No, because the as soon as it hits the water, the white starts to go ahead and start cooking. So everything and then it cooks from the outside in.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
I just know it's runny, so I'm not going to eat it.
Well, if you poach it for a long time, it's no longer
It's
running.
not.
But then why don't you just make a hard-boiled egg?
Yeah. If that's what you want, you can do that too.
Oh, so many breakfast things.
Whatever.
Okay. Let's up our game, guys, at breakfast.
Yeah. I'm making breakfast tacos.
I'm
No, you're
making
not. You're eating
pancakes.
Pop-Tarts.
I'll make it after my Pop-Tarts because you say that's what I should do. Cereal first.
All right, let's try it.
Nutri-Grain it is. Let's disembark from that conversation and jump into Trailers Way. And all I can say is there is no lack of videos out there to scare people out of towing a trailer.
But isn't that what, videos do a lot of times? Online, if you Google something, like they say, if you're feeling bad, don't Google it because you're going to die.
Absolutely.
So Trailer Sway is kind of the same thing.
Yeah, you only see the sensational worst case scenarios.
There's no videos out there of like, look at how much my trailer's not swaying. That's not a thing.
I don't think that.
Not
It doesn't
interesting videos.
go viral.
Yeah, it's the funny thing about humans. We aren't all that interested and engaged while things are going smoothly and as they are expected to.
Oh, heavens no.
Once things leave the expected to and maybe go very badly, then we're 100% engaged.
Well, nobody pulls off on the side of the highway to watch the traffic go by smoothly. They only stare when there's a crash.
Yeah, the last time I was rubbernecking a smoothly flowing intersection, it didn't last long.
I imagine that's right. So, but you know, how many people come in here and they're scared to tow?
Right. Or half of the family is fine and says, it's nothing. And the other half is just like, I haven't gotten in the vehicle yet and I'm already white knuckling it.
Yes. And that's usually the half that's driving.
Maybe. Yeah.
That's scared. Mm-hmm. So,
or the one who most recently was on YouTube.
Right. Good point. Good point. Well, and then it's easy to think that maybe you're just a bad driver if you have experienced trailer sway. Don't you think?
Well, I think there's two camps. Basically, you blame your equipment or equipment setup, or you blame yourself. And I think that's a very individual thing, because some of us, we were raised to, me playing tennis. I mean, if I had a bad tennis shot in middle school, I was blaming my tennis racket.
That's right. So maybe it's about the confidence of the driver.
Yeah, absolutely.
The confident people blame the equipment, and the insecure people blame their driving.
Or people who were raised getting the blame, which is sad commentary. But let's move on.
Yeah, move on. Not going there. So, but the equipment's not set up. This is not an aerodynamic trailer. It's too long. It's too big.
Right.
Something's not right. But the truth is, every trailer can be towed without a really fear of sway.
Right. And more often than not, those of you who have a real introspective issue here, more often than not, it's more the equipment set up, and the equipment can be set up.
That's right.
It's not necessarily the driver.
So that's what we're going to talk about, is setting up the equipment, what to look for. If you feel like your trailer maybe isn't towing perfectly, there's some things you can check. But first, we're going to give you the lowdown on trailer sway.
Lowdown.
That's right. So what makes a trailer sway?
Yeah, what initiates that?
Well, wind.
No, don't say sway. It says waggle.
Ooh. Wiggle.
Well, waggling is kind of what they do.
So a couple things can make your trailer waggle. I'm not saying sway anymore. It's just going to be waggle from now on.
Okay.
Like the wind.
Can we eventually get to dip? That way we can reference that other 90s song. I put my hand upon your hip, and when you dip, we dip. Yeah, whatever.
But trailers don't dip. They waggle.
But a dip could cause a waggle.
We'll talk about that in a minute. The wind, gusts, canyons, storms. I feel like it's always windy when I'm driving. But then I realized I always take my trailer to the hill country. So,
right.
Yeah. It's always windy out there.
It is windy, and you're up and down windy roads too.
And trucks passing, that actually gives me anxiety when they go really fast and they pass you. So like when the truck is passing you, it pushes you away.
It changes the air pressure.
Right when they pass you, it sucks you back in. And you just got to be prepared for it.
Yeah, definitely. And quick driving maneuvers. Now that is a driver error.
Yeah, but what happens if you're driving along and there's like a giant dead deer in the middle of the road? You got to get around it.
I mean,
Can't go over it.
You
can't go under it. Can't go through. Oh.
Ew.
Are we going on a bear hunt?
It's best to go around it.
It is best to go around it, but I think from a defensive driving scenario,
you're not supposed to swerve.
Yeah, the less swerving,
right?
And
don't tell the people to swerve.
Yeah, I
does
say.
Does it really depend on how much of a?
Can I tell a story here?
Dick, can I stop you?
Yeah, you're my boss. So growing up, we lived in the city, but we had some ranch property. We had livestock. So we were out there multiple times a week, and we're oftentimes coming back in the evening time. And we'd be driving back small roads, and lighting wasn't good, or you come around a blind corner or something. And I recall one time, I can't tell you that this hasn't happened more than once, but we came around a corner one time and we see flashing lights of a vehicle with a trailer in the center, in the turn lane, basically. And so my stepdad was trying to make room for anyone who might be outside of that vehicle working on the trailer or the vehicle, just courtesy. As soon as he went to the shoulder side to make room, he noticed something rather large and dark right where he was tracking. And he went right up and over a cow. And everyone was fine but the cow and the truck. The frame of the truck was all bent up.
Oh my gosh.
We drove at an angle.
Disgusting, Clint.
But you know what? No other trailers were wrecked, and all humans made it fine. And I don't know anything other than that.
So you can't go around it. You can't go under it.
But you can technically
You
go
can't kill
over
it with your truck.
It was already dead. The reason they pulled over was because the doors on the back of the cattle trailer had opened up and it tried to step out at highway speed.
Oh, why are you telling me this story?
It's a horrible
Because you can't
story.
go over it.
No, it's terrible.
Well,
I definitely say,
We don't
hey, diddle,
recommend
diddle
it.
the rest of the way home.
Clint is in a mood today,
What
folks.
else can make your trailer waggle? Jeez.
Oh my goodness. Well, those are the main things, right? Can you think of anything else that really makes it start to sway in the back?
I can think in some certain situations, if your vehicle is not properly matched equipment wise and all that, and you're going downhill.
So now we're talking about equipment reasons.
Yeah, but if you're going downhill and things aren't correct and your trailer isn't braking correctly, it can start to try to get ahead of the tow vehicle because the tow vehicle is slowing down faster than the trailer. And that can initiate a sway.
What if you have a lot of weight in the back of your trailer and then all of a sudden you don't? Like
What?
a cow.
Oh, it does make a difference. Suddenly your fuel economy goes
And
right through the roof.
Will that cause trailer sway?
I think that would cause
Oh my
porpoising.
gosh.
That is more likely to cause what's known as porpoising versus
That's a real
fish showing.
thing?
Yes, where it goes up and down.
Porpoising?
Yeah.
Not whaling or dolphining?
Well, that
Fishing?
a dolphin is a porpoise.
Porpoising. It's not a thing.
Yes, it is.
Really?
Yeah, it is.
So you got
because
fish
instead of going
tailing and sway.
sideways, you're going like this.
Huh? You got
Well, I
fishtail, sway, and
understand, but
porpoise,
like it's just saying porpoise. I've never heard that
which is
before.
way better. What you really don't want is corkscrew.
Okay.
Let's have an episode on porpoising.
That is not a thing. That is not a thing. Okay, well, let's talk about the physics of trailer
I know
sway.
you want to say it. Don't
No,
say it.
don't say it.
Yeah.
Don't say it. I'm trying to move us on
It's
here.
just sway and porpoising at the same time.
It's swarpicing.
Oh, jeez.
I have to pee. I'm so tired.
Yeah.
This we've gone nowhere. Okay, just
Okay. As we recover here, what is the physics, PJ? The physics behind trailer sway?
After all that, you want me to talk about physics?
I do. I need dry physics here.
Okay.
No fun.
Okay, so here's the piece that people don't always realize is that it's not about your trailer swaying completely. The trailer, when the trailer starts twisting, then where it's connected to the back of your vehicle is putting pressure on your vehicle, and your vehicle is twisting the opposite direction. So you're kind of like both kind of snaking along in this little serpentine motion.
Yeah.
And that's what's hard to control.
Yeah, but
is that
it's not
both
you're steering
pieces-
this causing that back and
Yes.
forth, because you can control if you're doing that, the steering wheel is under control. But this is happening right at that connection point of your ball.
Right.
And
so the
that's
trailer's
scary.
pushing on the back of your vehicle and pushing the rear end from side to side, and you're trying to control it
Sure.
with the steering on the front.
The tongue of the trailer pushes to the left. The front of your tow vehicle goes to the right, and
Yep.
then you try to correct,
And it goes the
it's
other
A very
way.
quick pendulum swing. So now the tongue of your
That's
trailer is
right.
pushing to the right, and the front of your tow vehicle is just whipped over to the left.
So it's kind of like a ride at Disneyland, right?
Of the worst kind.
Yes. Okay. So let's talk about things that you can do that will make a difference, because we want people to know that there are things you can do that can help this, that can minimize it.
Like keeping the cows in your trailer.
Yes. Lock
Solid.
that back door.
Solid.
Okay.
Poor heifer.
But there really are things that will help. So let's
Her
start with.
name was Hugh.
Oh, geez.
Hugh Heifer.
So if you have a short wheelbase tow vehicle, let's say a 2-door Jeep
Oh,
versus
yeah.
a longer Jeep Gladiator or something like that, whatever the trailer's doing from a sway perspective is going to be accentuated. You're going to feel it more. It's going to be affecting you more as the driver in the tow vehicle.
So you're telling me I shouldn't tow with my Jeep?
What we're saying is you need to tow with a limousine.
Ooh.
Let's. I think this needs to be a thing.
That's what you were saying, right?
Yeah, but I think it needs to be a stretch limousine and a teardrop trailer.
A Hummer limousine
Yes, and a teardrop trailer.
and a teardrop trailer.
It's going to look like that Hummer pooped.
Well, it's not going to sway. I can guarantee you that.
I'm not sure why we shouldn't make this happen.
The visual.
Write that down, Clint.
But you're right. The wheelbase really does make a difference. So it's good to keep that in mind. If you have a fairly long trailer at 20 to 25 foot and you're towing with a very short wheelbase, it may have the towing capabilities, but it doesn't maybe have as much ability to counteract the sway because it's so short. You know, it's kind of like doing yoga.
Tell
If
me
I'm
how.
doing yoga, well, I don't know if I can tell you much how, but if you have your feet together, it's hard. You lose your balance. And if somebody says spread your feet wide apart in a wide stance, you are much more balanced, right?
Well, from
I don't know
that
how
side.
that relates to a
from
car,
side
but
to side.
that's how it feels to me when I'm driving. If I have one of those short wheelbase cars, it seems to move a lot more. It just does. It doesn't have as much friction on the road.
Yeah, it's more skippy.
It waggles easier.
Yes, and no one wants the tail wagging the dog when you're towing.
Nope.
No. So how do we be proactive on the issue of sway?
Am I the professor here?
Yes.
Yes, we are the peanut gallery.
You're apparently the children today.
Today.
All right. So first thing, check your tongue weight, right? Just
Check.
because that hitch says it can have a 500-pound tongue weight doesn't mean that your vehicle can handle it, and it doesn't mean that that's what your trailer is. And tongue weight can be affected by all kinds of things.
Okay.
How you load your trailer, if you have a weight distribution, how that weight distribution
Yeah.
is set up. So
But also, what are you putting in your actual tow vehicle? Let's say you have a pickup truck and you're putting stuff in the back in the truck bed. That actually affects your tongue weight.
it does. Because everything that lowers down at that center point where they connect together pushes the weight towards that center point. And that's your tongue weight. Did you know how to measure tongue weight? Do you know how to do that?
You know, all I've ever done as far as what the tongue weight is of your trailer.
Yes.
I mean, all we've
Not
ever done-
Lindsay's tongue that she was just sticking
La la
out.
la 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 la. So
Wait, I've seen them do it in the shop.
Yeah.
They have like a
tongue weight scale.
yeah, and it's just a scale, and then they do the
Yeah, and if you've got a tiny,
the
Jack.
thing.
Tongue jack.
you
Your
level
tongue
your
is
trailer.
jacked.
Oh, jeez. You level your trailer, and then you put a scale underneath the tongue, and you can see what your tongue weight is while your trailer is level. That's how you do it. However, most of us don't happen to have a scale that'll go that high. So the best way to do it is to go to a weigh scale, like a CAT scale, where you can weigh your trailer.
At a truck stop or
Like
on
a
the
truck
side of the
stop,
highway?
yes. You can find them all kinds of places. You can actually just look up scales, truck scales, and you can find them.
Sure.
They're not far away.
And it's not, you think they're just there for the big trucks.
Nope.
No, they're for anyone.
Nope, they're for anybody, and it usually costs $10 or something.
I like
It's
to
a no big deal deal.
hit one on the way to fast food and hit one on the way back just to know.
Just to know.
Yeah.
Silly. So if you set up your trailer and unhook it from the vehicle and take off your weight distribution, any gear that you have on there, and just let it sit there. The whole trailer, you've got a full gross vehicle weight rating, right? Then pull the trailer up and put the tongue off the scale, but the wheels on the scale, and be sure your trailer is level, and get a second number. And if you subtract that from the gross vehicle weight rating, you will know how much weight is on that tongue, because that's the part that isn't included in that second measurement.
Okay, so PJ, what are we looking for as far as percentage of tongue weight versus our overall gross weight?
Well, what you ideally want is 10 to 15%. Now, if it gets below 10%, it's really light. The back of the trailer is too heavy, and it just kind of wags along behind you, and that's dangerous.
So you said 10 or 15% forward. So this reminds me of, now I do a little bit of archery, and I've built a few custom arrows and things like that. And we always are looking for FOC, or front of center weight. You want some of that weight to be the heavier part of the arrow to be front of the center line.
Well, that makes sense, because if the back is heavy, it's pushing it not in a straight line.
Yeah, it's easy for the tip of the arrow to go off, and then you have the vanes in the back that just kind of steer it off. So if you have it front of center, then the mass is pulling it through the air, and the tail is just fine tuning. And I feel like that's kind of similar here to having a slightly front of center, or FOC, weight on your trailer.
Well, I can tell you, I don't know a thing about archery. Nothing. But it makes sense that you need something balanced to move forward. And it's all about where the axle is on the trailer and, connecting the front of it so that it's balanced. Now, when we say ideally is 10 to 15%, 8 or 9% is too light. This is not a somewhere close to 10 to 15%. You want to be in that range. And some people say 10 to 12%. When you get over 15%, you are really front heavy. So how do you adjust that? First thing is weight distribution, right?
Well, I think even before then, you're pretty much guaranteed that you're going to be putting stuff in your trailer, right?
Yes.
So
I hope so.
So the way you pack your trailer. And I think that this goes into the way that engineers design where they put their water tank, their holding tanks. I think that has something to do with it. If I were really wanting to do a great job of my setup to hit the road for a long trip, I'd put my stuff in it. And if I'm traveling with water in my tanks, I'd go ahead and fill those up. And then I'd set my weight distribution hitch to fine tune it to that load.
If that's what you're always going to travel with. Some people travel with a full load of fresh water because of where the actual tank is located.
And that's another thing I was going to bring up.
To put more tongue weight on it. And some people travel with it empty for the same reason.
Right. So
you have to know your trailer.
Fine tune. Exactly. You know your trailer. You fine tune your balance and how it feels driving. Sometimes just by adding or taking away water, or by the placement of the heavy things inside.
Or what you think is light, but there's a whole lot of it.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we see some of that. A lot of times the pass-through storages are on the front, right behind the tongue.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's where people put all the heavy gear, all
ice
the tools, their ice chest.
Yep.
You can put 300 pounds right there.
Well,
and it's all leaning forward right on that tongue.
Or a tongue-mounted spare tire, a tongue-mounted bike carrier. Or a generator right on the tongue.
You add a huge basket, so you can put 2 big generators on it.
5 batteries.
All on your tongue weight.
What else you got?
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Yeah, and once those partridges all land, I mean, it just
How much does a partridge weigh?
They're so fat.
Okay, so what about this? What about loading things on the back of the trailer?
Is
that better?
Well, I guess it depends on your front of center, right?
Okay. Well,
you could go too far if you put all your generators on the back of the trailer on that tray, or bikes and generators, and your, travel jacuzzi,
your portable jacuzzi on the back,
full of water.
Full of, of course.
Yeah. So if you put all that behind the axle at the rear of the trailer, that's just going to lighten the tongue. And you better stay aware of how much you're lightening that tongue.
Well, it's
Lightning?
best to put all of the heavy gear that you can on top of where your axle is, so it's balanced. So that travel jacuzzi could go right there on top of the axle.
Beautiful. I like it.
Yeah.
Because
good
that
place
leaves
for
you
it,
room
right?
for the tiki bar at the back.
There you go. Well, then do you put the
sauna at the front.
Oh, I was like a waiting pool
Yeah.
at the front?
Sauna
How
at
do
the
you balance
front,
this?
jacuzzi in the middle, and tiki bar at the back.
All right. So seriously, folks, bottom line here is balance your load. So is it more dangerous to have a heavy tongue or a light tongue?
The answer is yes.
Which
And
one's worse?
I personally prefer a heavier tongue, but you can go too far. And if it's pressing down too much, then you're taking weight off of your steering wheels at the front of your tow vehicle, and that introduces a new type of danger.
Well, you are right. If you have to go one way or the other a little bit, it's better to be heavier than it is to be lighter. Of course, that is all within moderation.
Yes.
But when you set up a weight distribution, and anything that's 5,000 pounds or more, as far as a trailer, should have a weight distribution.
Yeah.
And you can put them on lighter weight ones
Sure.
as well. But when you hit that 5,000 range, you need that weight distribution to take the weight off that connection between the vehicle and the trailer
Right.
and distribute it to the axles in front and the axles in back.
Right. The modern vehicles that you can buy, the half-ton pickup trucks that can tow so insanely large weight capacities now, the new truck you have, its capacity is up there around 12,000, somewhere around there for a towing capacity. Same with mine, around 12,000. However, if you read the manual for your vehicle or mine, it says exactly that. Our vehicles are rated max 5,000 unless we're using a properly adjusted weight distribution hitch.
You're right. There's two numbers for every vehicle. And most, there are vehicles now, a lot of them will say weight distribution required
Right.
to tow with that vehicle. So, if you don't have a really heavy shocks and suspension on the back of your vehicle, then you have to have that weight distribution.
Yeah.
Especially with a short wheelbase.
Well, imagine if you're towing something. Let's take, for instance, if you have a front wheel drive vehicle. Now, the nice thing is that a lot of that weight is straight down on your drive wheels are your steering wheels as well.
Right.
So a lot of that weight starts out there, but it is possible with a heavy enough tongue weight pushing down on the back to lift too much of that weight off of not just your steering wheels, but also where the rubber meets the road, your drive wheels, which is, like I said, drive wheels and steering wheels, same thing in that scenario.
Right.
Weight distribution is a beautiful, wonderful thing.
But it has to be set up correctly. And it can include sway control, or you can add it separately. Most weight distributions now, it's included
Modern ones,
in that setup, but you have to do it right. So before we wrap up this dry session and try to get people to understand that there are choices when you're looking at trying to make your sway better. So pay attention to them and improve your situation. The last thing is setting up that weight distribution correctly. And so first of all, read the instructions. How many people don't read the instructions? I feel like it's bolted on there.
I don't.
So
I definitely watch YouTube videos instead.
Well, that will work
But
too.
if I was putting on a weight distribution hitch, I definitely would not read the directions. I just bring it up here and be like, hey, you do this for a living.
you read the instructions. But there is a certain distance on the tongue that you need to mount the brackets.
Right.
To get the right tension on it.
Okay.
But it's all about the tension that goes into those weight distributions.
Right. And make sure that distribution hitch is rated for the trailer that you're going to be towing, because there's different rated bars.
Yes, they are. And so most of the time, a good rule of thumb is to get a weight distribution that is maybe 100 to 200 pounds heavier than your actual tongue weight.
Okay.
So good rule of thumb there. But when you set up your weight distribution, the first thing you need to do before you hook up your trailer is measure the distance between the front and the rear bumper of your vehicle to the ground.
Okay. Because you're going to try to achieve that again.
You're going to try to get that same balance once you get your trailer hooked up.
Now I've seen people do the instead of the bumper measurement to the ground, I've also seen the distance from the top of the tire to the bottom of the top of the wheel well.
Yeah.
I mean,
same thing.
Same difference. Okay.
Same. Yeah. It's just a smaller number. So it's harder to see the increments.
Okay.
So then when you hook your trailer up and you put your weight distribution on and you put some tension on those bars, then you measure that bumper to be sure that those inches are still balanced.
Okay.
So if one goes down an inch, the other one needs to go down an inch. I mean, be sure they kind of come down. Because, of course, once you hook up your trailer on the back, it's going to bring the rear end down. What you want to do is bring that rear end back up. So that it is in balance with the front of the car.
And that doesn't mean that it's
whatever it is.
Yeah, that just levels off the tow vehicle, so it has about the same amount of friction on the front tires and back tires with the ground, and it levels off the toe of the trailer as well. And I love the new weight distribution hitches because they not only really help out with any porpoising, but they have that built-in sway. So there's the new ones. They're cool.
So if it's a little low in the back, then you just tighten up that weight distribution a little more, and that will help adjust the vehicle. The next thing you need to look at is the trailer. Make sure the trailer is level once you are all hooked up and ready to go. Because if it's not, you've got the imbalance there.
Okay.
Yeah. So all of that put together should give you a nice towing trailer. Now, does that mean you'll never have any sway? You know what? Sway can happen with high winds, all kinds of issues, swerving. Just do the best you can to be in the best position.
So
if there isn't outside factors, that trailer should tow beautifully.
So here's my ways that I've always heard of dealing with it. And I've even tried it on one occasion specifically that comes to mind. If I have a trailer that's starting to get a little bit frisky, I want to engage those trailer brakes before I engage my tow vehicle brakes. And that's
good tip.
That's the thing about knowing how to operate your trailer brake controller.
That's right.
If you can go ahead and usually it's some sort of squeeze mechanism or a button, maybe you're using Kurt Echo, you got to have that screen up. Don't have other screens up. Have that screen up so you can go ahead and push that button. But most of us will have a wired in with the squeeze mechanism. Start braking the trailer, slowing down the trailer's tires before you start slowing down the tires on your tow vehicle.
Or don't hit the brakes at all. Just take your foot off the gas and squeeze your trailer brakes. And that helps even out sway safely. And that is the safest way to slow down your trailer and get everything moving straight again.
Or if you want to be Dukes of Hazzard, you always want the trailer going or slower than you. So just go faster with your tow vehicle. So the trailer's always trying to catch up.
No. Bad advice. Do not listen to Clint.
Oh.
The children came back in the room.
Hi, my name is Clint.
Well, I don't know. Hopefully some of this will be encouraging to people who are worried about sway.
So if you have other questions on, say, a sway situation, your personal setup or something like that,
then don't send them to Lindsay and Clint.
No, because we are going to make a fool of ourselves and you're just going to have to wait it out.
I also don't want to hear any stories about anything falling out of your trailer or running over any animals.
Oh, fair enough.
Send those to Clint. He definitely wants to hear those.
I'll keep them all to myself unless I can't help myself. So if you have questions or whatever, head on over to the RV Small Talk community group on Facebook, or you can send us something, drop us a line at questions@rvsmalltalk.com. And maybe you have a question about your actual weight distribution hitch setup. I cannot guarantee you that the three of us will have a great answer, but I know we have some fantastic people in our service department.
We know someone who will
Give them a call.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we'd like to once again thank you for joining us for this week's episode of the RV Small Talk podcast. As always, show notes can be found at rvsmalltalk.com. We are trying to get way, way, way better at social media, so follow us everywhere and encourage us. And we'd like to thank the new guy, Paul. From all of us to you, may your trailer never swarpus. Drive long and prosper. Nanu.
Nanu.